Hello, I'm Francisco Ruiz, the developer of PassLok for email extension, which beginning with version 0.5 has a new symmetric mode, which means that sender and recipient have a shared password that they can use. It's different from their password they use to get into the app, and this one is okay if they share it with other people. For instance, I have here a message that Alice sent to Bob. It begins saying there is a shared password message. If I click here, instead of asking me for Alice's password, it's asking me for the shared password. I happen to know that it's telling me cherries. I know it's I'll eat 42 cherries. Let's see if I got it right. Yeah, so I say okay, and here it is. It's decrypted. I love cherries. It never asked me for Alice's password because it did not use it. It just used a password for Bob. If I want to reply to Bob, I'll just do it the normal way. Let's say, hi Bob. And then I will use the share password method here. So when I encrypt, it's going to ask me for a share password. I'll eat 42 cherries. Okay. And then here it is, encrypted. Now let me tell you about the other ways that you can use the shared password. There's actually 3 different ways. This is the standard way. There's another way that I like to call the pad mode, which is theoretically unbreakable. It uses a very, very high strength, unlimited length password. And let me show you. This one was encrypted that way, and I encrypted with Oliver Twist Chapter 1. Let's just try to decrypt it. It's going to ask me for the shared password, and I know that shared password happens to be a big piece of text. It's like these 3 paragraphs of the beginning of Oliver Twist. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to, I don't know where I put it now. Here it is. I'm going to paste that, and then I say OK. It's going to further ask me within that text what is the starting position, which could be a secret between me and the recipients. In this particular case, it was 0, the beginning. So I click OK, and here it is. Very secret was the message here. Anybody who did not know what that text was or the starting position is going to have a very, very hard time decrypting this. To encrypt is the same thing, the same way I showed you earlier. Instead of using a short password, you use a very, very long password that the other person knows. Typically, you need this to be about 5 times the length of what you want to encrypt. Now, I'll tell you there is yet another method. Let's get rid of this. It's the human mode. Human mode has the advantage over the other methods in that you can decrypt by hand. You can encrypt by hand and you can decrypt by hand. This is a human mode message. You can tell because it contains only letters. And if we try to decrypt it, it's going to ask for its password. Let me show you what it is. This particular one uses the password. It's a password that is composed of 3 words separated with tildes. So wonderful, tilde, marvelous, tilde, awesome. Okay? If we click here, it decrypts it. Very secret. Now you might think, well, I don't know, I could have typed something else. All right, let's type something else. Let's say that instead is wonderful, awesome, and then marvelous. Same but in different order. Well, it decrypts, but you never know if this is correct. This doesn't happen to be correct. And in fact, you might get all kinds of things that are not correct. Now, how can you decrypt it the same way? You just supply a password that is made of 3 pieces of text separated by tildes, but perhaps the most interesting part is how to do it by hand. So let me get rid of this, and when we come to share password, there is this web page which explains how it's done by hand. Okay, you can get it at passlok.com/human, and you have a whole series of steps here. It's actually fairly simple, and it uses a tabula recta, which you can carry with you. It doesn't need to change. It's just a square with letters, and it can be done by hand. So if either the sender or the recipient has a computer that is compromised, no problem, because the encryption can be done outside of the computer, and then the computer is only used for sending the message. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the share password mode of PassLok for email.